obviously this is quite a weird and wonderful film. When you first got the screenplay through, was it quite hard to visualise? And if so, does that make it quite, is there an element of risk attached in signing up to a project like this?
Yes, somehow. I knew Peter's film, world and films somehow, but still when I read the script I couldn't really tell how, I had no idea that the look of my character would be like that. I had no idea that it would be shot in this type of gothic environment somehow. So it was very hard to imagine, but that makes it very exciting as well, of course.
Yeah, it's quite a unique experience watching this film. I mean, when watching all of Peter's movies, it's got a really distinctive tone. You can tell when you see a film of his now, you know it's a Peter Strickland movie.
Sure.
Is that the case on set? Did it feel like being in his world on set, or does that come in kind of post-production?
No, it's true on the set too, actually, because the language is so specific. And I think he really has a tone as a writer too, that going through the scenes and the situation, you could feel, I didn't know if it was, Peter's world like in other films, but I could feel that we were creating a world. Also because of the visual aspect of it and the way we look and the way we talk to each other, it was pretty concrete on set, yeah.
Is this the real world that exists, this culinary themed kind of performance art? Is that something that's sort of real? And if so, were you able to do any research into it?
Yes, it does exist, and Peter was actually part of a band like that. I had no clue about that type of experimental music and performance. I knew about performance, but I had no clue about these specific cooking, experimental music and sound around that. So I did some research. There are not that many bands like that, of course not. So I could see Peter's band back then, and I watched some videos, and I really liked just that dynamic about people, as a group and artists working together, and what power games it creates. But I also love the fact that we're talking about the most basic stuff for human being, which is cooking, eating, and digesting. But we never talked about it like it is a taboo, and now suddenly it was the main topic was that. So I discovered things, and I also was very excited about the fact that we would talk about basic stuff.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen flatulence on screen explored before.
Yeah.
How were those performances, the performance scenes to shoot? Because they're obviously quite unique. The three of you alongside the other two, you have to really give so much to those sequences. Were they almost quite daunting, the day before shooting those moments?
I think it was even more for Fatma playing Elle, of course, because she had to perform physically much more, and of course it was almost scary. But even the little scenes where we were doing some mime, those we had time to rehearse, which was great. But I really loved the fact that we were talking about very casual and everyday life type of situation, like going to the supermarket, but having to have them so stylized and so precise and choreographed. And I really liked, and I think that's part of Peter's world, talking about something very, very casual, but in a very sophisticated way.
Yeah, but the feeling of them all kind of living together in this house, it was almost quite suffocating at times for them. Was that something that was quite easy to access? Because I guess all of you were inside this mansion during a few weeks shooting. Was that quite an easy part of one of the easier themes to kind of emotionally connect to?
Maybe because we were, exactly like you said, we were living in this house and eating every breakfast, every lunch, and every dinner together. So of course we had this immersion really was already there, and it was of course very useful. And the fact that we started with the rehearsals on very physical, precise things, like I said, on the performance and the supermarket stuff, that was very useful because we could tune the three of us at least together to almost find like a same quality of movements, even though we're very different characters, to have the feeling that those people have been working and living together for a long, long time. That was important for us to believe that.
Of course, British audiences will know Asa Butterfield really well.
Everybody knows him.
This is a really different role to what we've seen.
Of course.
Before, what was he like to work with?
He was great. He's brilliant. I think he did a great. He's great, Billy, because he still has something from the quality of teenagehood somehow, that it brings something to the group that is brilliant. And of course, no, he's a great guy. It was so funny to work with him. Brilliant, yeah.
Obviously, seeing you in British movies, because obviously The Souvenir too,
Right.
it seems it's really taken to the kind of British sensibilities in these kind of movies. I'm just wondering if that's something you'd like to explore more. Can you see yourself working quite frequently in England and in Britain?
I never cared about where the projects I do come from somehow. I love Joanna Hogg films. I love Peter Strickland's film. So I'm always happy to work with artists that I love. I don't care where they come from, really.
Because I know you're sort of starting to explore directing yourself. I mean, you've worked, like you said, Joanna and Peter and Yorgos as well.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're on set, when you're working with people like that, visionaries like that, do you find you're even kind of subconsciously learning or taking stuff?
Completely consciously.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely, of course. I also do that to learn from them, as an actor and as a director too. And whenever I can have the chance to work with people like them, of course, it's a gift. So yeah.
So my final question is, what sort of films are you sort of interested in making? What sort of stories can you see yourself wanting to tell as a filmmaker?
I did a short film called Ola, and it's, I guess I'm very into feminism and women's characters. This is kind of my world. But I guess I'm very much inspired by people like, of course, Yorgos Lanthimos, Athena Tangari, Peter Strickland, Joanna Hogg, many artists also in France, like, I don't know, I'm a huge fan of Claire Denis' work as well. There are many people that are inspirations for me. But I admire people creating a language in a world when they make films, and of course that's what I'm going to try to do.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.